Another question I received on social media was, is there any advice for someone who's got dyslexia? Well, there's many people in the world that have done extraordinary things with dyslexia. And dyslexia can be a catalyst for great opportunities as much as it can be also an aggravation. So what I would do is write down all the benefits you're getting out of dyslexia, first of all. I mean, Richard Branson has been known to have dyslexia. And one interview that he went through, he said, one of the greatest things that happened in my life is having dyslexia. It was both a pain and a pleasure. The pleasure side of it was that he realized that he had certain skills and other skills he didn't have. So he hired high-quality people to take on the skills he didn't have and didn't develop. And then what happened, that led him to be able to do and run many, many companies without having to do them all. If he hadn't had that, he probably would have not been a serial entrepreneur. That's his perception. So my advice is to write down the benefits of it and not use it as an excuse and as a setback. Use it as an opportunity. Every type of challenge we have also has opportunities available to it. So write down the benefits you get and don't stop it at just a handful and really write down until you're grateful for the opportunity that you have dyslexia. It also has a service. I was diagnosed with dyslexia when I was a young kid. But in my particular situation, I found something that really helped me. I can't guarantee it's going to help everyone, but it helped me. I found out that my development was hindered because of my comparison of myself to other kids and other people. I was born with my arm and leg turned in and had to wear braces on it, and I felt a little intimidated and emotional, and I was subordinating to other people who were making kind of fun of me and things of this nature. And I also felt I was letting my father down. And I found that dyslexia definitely has an impact from what I call owning the traits of the greats. So anytime you feel somehow intimidated by somebody and minimize yourself and feel too humble to admit what you see in them inside you, it tends to aggravate it. I've worked with, I won't say thousands of cases of dyslexia, but we certainly have them in our programs regularly. And I've gotten to work with myself and other people that have had it. And I was actually got to speak on a couple conferences on that topic. And without a doubt, it's a developmental issue, brain developmental issue, but at the same time, why? It's easy to label it, it's a brain development issue. Why? Well, we can go and look up genetics, but the reality is that we can have an impact on it by identifying who we are giving authority to, who we're putting on pedestals that we're afraid of not living up to. Anytime we put people on pedestals, we'll tend to inject their values into our life and try to live in their values, not our own, and create an internal conflict within ourselves. And that does affect our brain development. So my advice is to go and find out the people that you're afraid of not living up to expectations on, that you might be putting on a pedestal, that you might minimize yourself to and compare yourself to and think you're less than, and find out what it is about them that you admire. What is it about them that you put on a pedestal? What's the specific trait, action, or inaction that they're displaying or demonstrating that you admire most and look up to most? And then go and look inside yourself. The symptoms of dyslexia that I had diminished as I did this exercise. Literally, in a matter of a few years, it just started melting away. The symptoms of dyslexia that I had just started to go down and down and down as I started to own the traits and did not have an anticipation or anxiety about being around anybody. I've been blessed to meet people of extreme wealth and extreme celebrity and extreme celebrated positions, and they're just people. We tend to exaggerate others and minimize ourselves sometimes, or minimize others and exaggerate ourselves. Those are not ourselves. And our brain works better when we're actually being ourselves. The magnificence that we are is greater than all the fantasies we keep imposing on ourselves. So go and find out what it is you admire in people, and go and find out where and when you display those same behaviors. I'm amazed at how we sometimes compare ourselves to others, and then they have a different set of values, we have a different set of values, but we're trying to expect ourselves to live in their values instead of our own, which is self-defeating and causes internal conflicts and affects the forebrain development and also the subcortical area of the brain. And this is found in some of the dyslexias. There's areas of the brain that are involved in motor control and speech and communication and understanding words and understanding language and things of this nature. And this area of the development, usually in earlier childhood, can be affected, particularly when we are sitting there living anxiety about not living up to expectation and thinking we're less than. So go and identify where and when you display and demonstrate whatever you admire in them, and it's mind-blowing. I've been teaching people how to do that in my Breakthrough Experience program for a long time, and it's literally eyebrows just go, whoa, I can't believe I didn't see this in myself. I've seen people level the playing field between themselves and people they admired. I've seen people in the music industry elevate and get opportunities the second they finish the exercise. I've seen people in business and sports get opportunities and notice that they're more fluent and congruent in their speech and their language and their ability to comprehend. So please take the time to go and find out who it is that you might be intimidated by, frightened of not living up to, fearing that you're not doing the right thing, and go and find out what it is that you admire about them and give power to, and find out where you have it so you end up leveling the playing field and not minimizing yourself. And then, of course, in my case, to overcome dyslexia, I also got a dictionary out and I started really putting the hours in and really putting effort into mastering the ability to understand words and speech and articulate it. So, give yourself permission to put a little extra hours into the things that you want to accomplish. But also don't be afraid to delegate it. These setbacks in our life that have been labeled setbacks may actually be catalysts for great opportunity, because it may allow us to go, I don't specialize in that. I hire people to do that. I pretty well delegate everything other than research, write, and teach today. But I learned because of my challenges that that's the way to do it. So give yourself permission to honor and appreciate wherever you are and whoever you are, and stop comparing yourself to others and putting people on pedestals and minimizing yourself and undermining your development of your brain and your great skills and great talents. The magnificence of who you are is far greater than any fantasies you'll impose on yourself trying to be somebody you're not.